Hi everybody, Dean Kuluira, IT recruiter at SRA Staffing. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching my end of week Friday job search video. So hope everybody's been having a great week. Hope your job search is going well. You're seeing results, or you're learning new things. Even if you're coming across any setbacks or barriers, if you're learning something from it, that's something positive you got to take with it, right? So don't look at just the negative side. Think about what you learned this week as well, and the more you learn, the more you're going to push forward in the process, right? So if you're an IT professional, if you don't know who I am, I'm Dean Kuluira. I'm an IT recruiter at SRA Staffing. We're based out of the Yonge and Shepherd area, short 10-minute walk from Shepherd Yonge subway station. So if we haven't met, if you're in the area, feel free to give me a heads up. Let me know. Definitely love to meet you and invite you to our offices. If you want to reach me on my office line, Monday to Friday, I'm at 416-296-1772, extension 2036. So before I get to my questions of the week, just wanted to give everybody a reminder and a heads up. I'll be one of the panelists for PrepCan's Ask the Experts panel, which is taking place next week, Friday, June 8th, and I believe it's at 10 a.m. This is my second time actually participating in this panel. It's a great panel, very informative for job seekers. The one last time was more of a kind of a general one in terms of there wasn't for any specific sector or domain. But this time, from what I understand, it's going to be strict specifically for IT professionals. So if you're new to Canada, if you're still overseas and you're looking to move to Canada, or you're moving soon, you're on the express entry thing over there. This is a great session for you to join in. It's myself and two other panelists, all in the staffing recruitment industry. A lot of insights to share, so make sure you tune in. Especially all of my friends. I have a lot of friends over there in India who are in touch with me, who will either be arriving here soon or planning to move over here. Great session for more information, and make sure you get in touch with PrepCan as well. They offer pre-arrival services for professionals or anybody who's arriving to Canada. So I'm going to post the link for the event down in the comments here. Make sure you register if you haven't. From what it's a free event. There's no cost to register and watch the event. Should take about, I think, 1 hour. So it's going to be next week again. Next week, Friday, June 8th at 10 a.m. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to see all of you there and answer all your job search questions. We're going to be talking a lot specifically about the IT industry and what you can expect arriving here in Canada. And it's just going to be awesome. So just prepare your questions. Be prepared to ask. The team at PrepCan is awesome. The last time, they were just fielding questions, live questions from the audience. So it is a live show. It's not recorded. And just a great opportunity to connect with all of you and meet new people, connect with new people, and just offer information. And it's always great to participate in these kind of events. So again, sign up, register if you haven't. I'll post a link in the comments. So moving right along. So this week I had a great question from a candidate who reached out to me. So this person is new to Canada, and they sent me a message on LinkedIn messaging with actually 3 questions, I guess, about some setbacks she's facing, which I felt that I should share, because I think these are probably some issues that a lot of people I guess in this case, new to Canada, might be facing. So I felt that let me go to the message. I'll let you know what they said, and then I'm gonna cover the questions. And excuse me. I should really stop doing these videos right after dinner, but nevertheless, I will proceed. I'm gonna respond to each of the questions. So there's 3 questions this person asked. So here it is. So they said, Dean, I'd like to seek your advice on my resume as I'm struggling hard to land into a job. I always hear reasons like, number 1, most of the HR and recruiters have turned me down once they get to know I'm on an open work permit. Number 2, either I am overqualified or underqualified. And number 3, I do not have Canadian experience. She further adds that I don't like telling a lie on my qualifications and expertise and visa status here. Which is great. You shouldn't lie or misrepresent yourself or fabricate yourself on your resume or in any area, right? Because your professional integrity is extremely important, and once that's broken, and if word gets around, that's not a good thing for you or anyone, because there are candidates out there, because recruiters do talk amongst ourselves, right? There are candidates, if they've at any point misrepresented themselves, or they've kind of played around with certain things on their resume, such as the dates and the companies they worked at, and they're not exactly the same. Just like any other profession, people talk. So just make sure you're not compromising your integrity in that sense. But anyway, let me get to my perspective and my take on these questions. So the first issue that this person is facing is, she says that most HR and recruiters turn down her resume once they get to know I'm on an open work permit. Okay, so first of all, if you're new to the country, like, you don't need to advertise on your resume like what your work status is. Like, you don't even have to put I'm a Canadian PR, or I'm here on an open work permit or closed work permit, or whatever your status is. You don't need to include that on the resume. I noticed a lot of my friends from India who are arriving here from India and some other countries from that part of the world. A lot of you put like a whole bunch of personal information on the resume as well, such as your marital status, date of birth, your passport number, what else? Your parents' names and stuff like that. So I guess over there, back in those countries, I guess that might be an actual requirement to apply for roles over there. But here in Canada, and for sure, and I know here in Canada and also in the States, I'm pretty sure it's the same. But you don't need to include that information. You don't need to specify any private or personal information like that. So you don't need to mention your Canadians, work status, or whether you have Canadian PR or open work permit, or your date of birth, or matter of fact, any information. Actually, I personally, I even advise candidates I work with that you don't need to put your full home address. Like, just put, if you're in Toronto, just put Toronto. That's about it. You don't need to. I don't think you don't need to put your full address information. That's personal information. But that's just my take on things. I'll leave it up to you. But in terms of the work permit and stuff, you don't need to include that on the resume for sure. So that should deal with that barrier that this person, as well as some of you, might be facing regarding the work permit status. That way, at least you can get to the interview. You can at least sell yourself, right? You can at least talk about what you do and what you bring to the table. And at that point, when you sold yourself, like, they probably won't care. As long as you can legally work in the country, they'll be like, hey, this person is awesome. They're gonna do a great job in this role. We don't really care if they're on an open work permit, right? So you don't need to put that on your resume. So the next question, either I am overqualified or underqualified. Okay, so that's a great question, and this is a common, I guess, setback that a lot of us face, right, in the job search. You apply for a role, the recruiter or the HR person or the hiring manager, whoever calls you, they call you on the phone first, and they're like, look, we feel that you have a nice resume, you have a nice blah blah blah, but we just feel that you're overqualified for the role, or they say we feel you're underqualified for the role. So now the first thing you got to keep in mind is, before I get into how to handle those two objections, is, are you applying for the right roles? Because a very brief example, like just this morning I got a call from a guy. So he was like, Dean, look, I'm applying for jobs. I've applied to many jobs. I'm not getting any responses. I just graduated from school. I'm really eager to get a job. I've been home for the past 1 month. I'm going crazy. I need work. I need something to work. I need a job. I want to get in the market. I want to get things moving in my career. So the first question I asked this guy was, look, how many years of work experience do you have? So he's like, well, Dean, I just graduated recently, so I don't have any work experience. I'm fresh out of school. So I said, okay, excellent. Congratulations, that's great. You got through school, you got your degree or your diploma. Now, what type of roles are you applying for? Like, are they junior roles? Are they intermediate roles? Are they senior roles? What type of roles are you applying for? how many years of experience do the roles you're applying for require? So then he's like, well, Dean, I'm mostly applying for intermediate and senior level roles. So then I asked, okay, so how many years of experience are these roles requiring? Like, what level of skill set and expertise are they looking for? So he said, well, I mean, the intermediate ones at least 3-4 years. I said, well, then it makes perfect sense why nobody's getting back to you. I mean, it's an intermediate role. They're looking for someone with at least like 4+ years experience. You're fresh out of school. You might have done like very, very well in school. You might have done a lot of nice, good projects. You might have a great GPA and all of that. But at the end of the day, if they're looking for someone at the intermediate level who has at least 4+ years experience, they're probably not going to consider you for an intermediate role, let alone a senior role. So what you need to do is focus on the junior level or entry level roles, right, which don't require like 3-4+ years experience, whereas you don't have any professional experience. So he was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna go try that. So hopefully he tries it out and let me know how it works. If you're watching this, let me know how it works, my man. So that's one thing I wanted to kind of signify before I get to that. So first of all, are you applying for roles that are requiring too much years of experience or too much less than what you have? Because if there's a big disparity between where you're at career wise and what they're looking for in terms of the years of experience, if that's really important to them, then that might be an issue as well. That might be why you're getting responses that you're overqualified or underqualified. Now, if it's just a few years of a disparity here and there, that might not matter, right? So if it's like if they want someone with 5 years experience and you happen to have 3 years experience, that's still doable. Like that, I have clients that wouldn't mind meeting someone who doesn't meet everything to an exact T, right? So now that being said, let's say that you're applying for the right roles and you're going in and they're still saying either and they're still saying you're overqualified or underqualified. Then there could be a hidden objection. There could be something else, some other reason why they're not looking to move forward with you. So in that case, make sure you check out my article on how to address hidden objections, right? Now, something very simple you can say if they get back to you and they say, look, we like your profile, we like your skill set, but we just feel that you're overqualified for the role. So the way to deal with this is, first of all, you need to acknowledge what their objection is. So say, hey, I totally understand. I only have X number of years of experience. You're looking for someone with X plus Z years of experience. Now, aside from that, is there any other reason why you don't feel I'd be a good fit for the role? Okay, so what that does is it isolates the objection, right? So then if that's the only thing, they'd say, yeah, you know what? That's the only reason why. I mean, that's the only thing preventing us from moving forward with you. You say, okay, great. Look, I understand I'm overqualified. I understand that you're looking for someone maybe a bit junior to myself for the role. However, that being said, what I can bring to the table is, let me put it this well. Before, let me show you guys an example, right? Now, let's say you're buying a product, because let me backtrack a little bit. Now, let's say you're buying a product, because I always advocate that the interview process, it's like a sales presentation, right? Like a sales cycle, and you need to see yourself as the product. So when you're in an interview, you're the product, right? And you're selling yourself. Now, to make sure that you understand what I mean, now let's say we have. Hold on, I'm going to show you a good example. Okay. Now let's say I'm selling these 2 pens, right? So these look pretty much the same if you look at it, right? So these are pretty much the same basic pen, same brand. Only difference is the color, right? So now let's say I'm selling you guys these pens, right? And I say, okay, each of these pens is $2, or okay, let's say $1, right? $1. So each of these is $1. They do exactly the same thing. They look the same. They have the same cap thing over here, right? Same amount of same plastic, same material, all of that. And it's the same price, $1. So that makes sense, right? Now let's say I have this better looking pen, right? It's over here. It's more easy to use. You just click it and open it. This one, you gotta go through the whole hassle of removing the cap, putting it in the back, and oh my god, then you gotta turn it around, put it like that. This one's more, it's simple, it's easy. It's got a nice little clip here. It's metallic, right? It's easier. It's more. It has a nice ergonomic shape kind of thing, so it feels good in the hand. So you can easily use it, right? Whereas this one, it's a pretty basic pen, $1. And now, what if I told you that this one was $1 as well? Which one would you go for? Right? Which one would you go for? This basic looking one, or this fancy looking pen which looks more ergonomic, and it has the clicky thing. It's very easy to use. Now, don't get all scientific on me, okay? I know some of you guys look too much in the details. You start debating with me about the pen and all that. I'm just trying to show an example, right? I'm just being metaphorical here. But if both of these pens were $1, like which one would you prefer? Which one looks more attractive? Which one has more features? Which one is more easy to use? You'd probably pick this one, right? If you're a logical person. Maybe you might choose this one. Maybe you have some other reasons why, right? But for the sake of argument, you'd probably go for this one, right? If both of these are the same price, you'd probably go for this one. It looks better, it's fancier, it's probably more ergonomic again, and it's easy to use. You just click it and that's it. Saves you time. So in the same way at the interview, that's how you gotta address this whole overqualified thing. It's like getting two products. Whoa, I'm doing some Cirque du Soleil over there here with the pens. So it's like having two products, right? This is the junior person. This is you're the senior person, right? Now you're roughly at the same salary or same investment that the customer has to make. The customer being the person interviewing you, or the hiring manager, whoever. So if it's the same or roughly the same price, which one would you go for? The one with more features, the one that's better to use and easier to use, that has more functionality, or the one that's more basic? And I'm not insulting the junior people out there. Okay, don't take it that way, but I'm trying to make a point here. Which one would the customer go for, right? But you have to explain that to them. You got to show them that, look, for the same investment, you could get someone with more years of experience, more experience with the specific tools, technologies, more experience working in teams, someone who has previous experience, previous projects that are similar to bring to the table. So that's the way you need to sell yourself, right? That's how I would advise you to deal with it, and hopefully that was a good example and it makes sense for you. So remember the two pens, right? And try and use that when you're trying to address the overqualified thing. Now for underqualified, they say that we really like your profile, blah blah blah, but we feel you're underqualified. It's the same thing. First of all, you need to find out what do they need for the role, right? So this is where qualifying the role comes into effect. What do you need for the role? Mr. Miss interviewer, like, what are you looking for in the role? What's the problem you're trying to solve? What's the need you have? What would the person in this role be doing on a day-to-day basis? What tools and technologies and XYZ are you using? What do you need? Because if all you need is something very basic, all you need is this, right? You don't need anything fancy. You're not going on a date or something. You don't want to impress anyone. You're fine with this. You don't need this, right? Because you just need something very simple. Like, hey, I just want to, write something. I want to write, I don't know. I want to sign the bill, sign a check or something. Something very simple. You don't need anything fancy. You just need this. So that's where you can sell this over this, right? So it all comes down to, are you qualifying the role? Are you getting an understanding of what they're looking for, what their needs are, what problem they're trying to solve, and addressing that? And that way, see what I did. I used the same two tools, and I convinced you to either go for the overqualified one or the underqualified one, right? And it's the same thing at the interview. You just had to kind of see that perspective and then explain it to the person. Don't assume that they know it already. So that's how you gotta explain it. Look, if you guys are looking for someone to do XYZ, the basic stuff or whatever junior level stuff, then look, I understand I don't have the years of experience as the person you're ideally looking for. But let me ask you, if I can do the exact same thing as that the other person that you need for the role, like, why not go for myself? I'm ready. I'm looking to get on the market, or I'm looking for a new job, or whatever your situation is. I'm looking for a great company that I can grow in. Your company seems like the right choice. And look, if there's no other reason, why would you not want to, go with myself, like, based on what you know about myself and what I bring to the table. So, that would be an example, right, of how I would handle it. I know I'm kind of oversimplifying it here, but hopefully you guys get the idea, right? And finally, number 3, do not have a Canadian experience. Okay, so this one is a frustration that a lot of candidates that I get in touch with have, which I totally understand and I really empathize with that situation. But so basically, what I feel first of all, I want to clear something, is when people say, oh, when if clients or companies and all those people, if they say, we need someone with Canadian experience. First of all, what they're not being racist or anything like that. What they're really saying is that we just, you're from a different country, from a different culture, and can this person coming to our culture, our company or our Canadian culture, and can they blend in with everyone? Can they get along with everyone? Or do they interact with people any different than we do? So that's basically, I think, I know that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. If you guys disagree, let me know. But I think that's what it means when they say a Canadian experience. Because at least in IT, look, if you're using a computer in India or China or Thailand or wherever, if you're using a Windows 7 operating system over there or Windows 10 or whatever, and you're using a Windows 7 or Windows 10 operating system over here, the features, the functionality is pretty much the same. You use it the exact same way. The only difference might be if you've set your language settings to whatever the local language is, right? And the same goes for anything in IT, right? I'm picking IT as an example, obviously, because I'm an IT recruiter. But my point is, look, IT, no matter where in the world you are, it operates and functions the exact same way, right? Like a certain model of a certain server would work the exact same halfway around the world as it would over here in Toronto or Canada, right? So knowing that, what the concern might be is, how well you interact with people, how well you fit into the social environment at the company or something of that sort. So what I'm guessing is that might be the issue. So that being said, if you've been living overseas and you've been working overseas, if the Canadian experience thing is an issue and it comes up, you can also mention if you've while you were overseas, if you work with international teams, specifically, teams in like Canada, America, or any of these countries, or any whichever country you're currently at, then make sure you mention that. Make sure you let them know. Look, I know I've been overseas for a while. I know I haven't worked in Canada as of yet, but in my previous role in country ABC, I was working with international teams. I was working with team people. I was interacting with people in Canada and the U.S. and on whatever basis you did. Maybe it was regular. Maybe it was semi-regular. Whatever the case. I'm not saying make this stuff up, but I'm saying if you have that experience, like working with international teams, especially if you're here in Canada and you're coming from overseas and you work with Canadian or American teams when you were back over there, make sure you mention that to them, right? Because that might be one way to address that objection. If you haven't, it's just a matter of showing up at the interview and just showing them that you're able to interact with people just like people over here do, and you seem like a likable social person, if that matters. Some companies care about all that stuff, some companies don't. Some companies, they just care about, okay, what's the skill set, can this person get the job done, right? So anyway, that would be my advice on that point, right? And you can also emphasize the fact that and retarget or refocus the conversation onto the technology or the tools and the technologies you were using, because at the end of the day, that's what you'll be working on over here as well. And I'm speaking again to the IT folks out there. Maybe in some other fields that might not be the case, and I don't know. Maybe if you're in finance or accounting, the accounting stuff overseas might be very different from over here. So unfortunately, I can't advise you guys in finance about that. But from IT folks, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Any form of IT over there, the tools or the technology, how it's used is the same over here. There's no such thing as Java Indian version or something versus there's a separate different Canadian version of Java where the coding and the syntax is completely different, right? That's not how it is. So you don't need to, I'm not saying to say that up front to their face, don't be sarcastic and confrontational. I'm just saying redirect the conversation and focus on the actual job, the tools, the technologies, what's expected on the job, right? After you address the whole Canadian experience thing. So that would be my advice. And that being said, just like I said before, don't misrepresent yourself. Don't lie about your qualifications and what you've done. Your professional integrity is very important, and I know at the same time it's kind of hard to balance that with, okay, I need to get a job, I need to get things done. But you know what? If you develop the opportunity to sell yourself and do what needs to be done to get the interview moving forward, you'll be fine. I mean, you have to again, I say it all the time, develop the ability to sell yourself. The interview process is just like a sales cycle. So you need to start looking at it that way and treat it like a sales presentation and go for the close. Go for the close, right? So that's about it. I know wow, my video, wow, it's 25 minutes already. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. Any way I can help you whatsoever, let me know. I'm in the office Monday to Friday around 8:30 to around 5:30. Direct number is 416-296-1772, extension 2036. Again, I'm an IT recruiter at SRA Staffing. My name is Dean Kulawira. If we have not met or spoken before, I accept full responsibility for that. That's my fault. Make sure we connect. If you're on LinkedIn, make sure you look me up. Let's connect. Even if you don't need me now, I'm pretty sure I can help you at some point in the future. And even if not, in between, I'm going to help you with my regular job search tips and advice, and videos and all the content and all the stuff that I put out. And I'm going to keep putting it out for all of you out there and help you in your job search. So again, I think that's about it. Nothing really else to add. So everybody have a great and safe weekend. Enjoy the weather here in Toronto. We're experiencing some great sunny weather. So enjoy yourselves. And any way I can help you, let me know. Call me, phone, email me, message me on LinkedIn, and let me know if there's any way I can help, and I'll do my best to assist you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please do like, comment, and share. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Have a good night.